This is New England Soccer Weekly with Tom Quinlan, Nick Giuliano, and Mike DeSilva on 790 The Score.
Cuckoo, how do you do after a bad start to the second half? I guess this is the second half of the season in Montreal last weekend. You pick up 3 important points at home versus the New York Red Bulls on Wednesday night, and now it's back-to-back home games. You're back at Gillette this weekend against a battered, down bad Austin FC. Mike, Nick, guys, how are you?
What's up, Mikey? How are you?
Doing good, man. Feels good off the dub. V9.
Pepperoni making
V9?
another goal.
V9, baby.
You know,
Pepperoni
Mike,
getting another goal.
There's a player on the New England Revolution that has 6 goals, and 4 of them are game-winning goals.
Giacomo Pepperoni.
You want to take a guess at who that is?
I'm going to guess it is our friend Tommy Quinlan's favorite player on the team, Giacomo Vrioni, V9.
So, Tom, you're a stat guy. When you hear that, is it as bad as you're making it out to be?
He's buzzing right now.
He is buzzing.
Yes, but this player
Also,
coming into the game already had 5 goals and 3 game-winning goals. So now he has 6 goals and 4 game winners. Not good enough?
Well, he didn't really do anything against Montreal, so it would have been nice if he had, 9 points in 2 games. But hey,
There he is.
Finish.
There he
Great
is.
finish last night, though. Listen, a great
nice
run.
finish. No, I thought last night could have been a struggle because I think if there's one team that has played you really well all year, it has been the New York Red Bulls.
Yeah.
They play a certain type of high press. Romeo Cornell has been very good in net for the Red Bulls. Like, that was a team that I was always like, that's one of those teams that you don't want to see in the playoffs, in my opinion.
And it's interesting because it's a team, and we've talked about them before, that doesn't really have that star name, that player that everybody like points to, like this is the guy. But they do play well collectively. Last night, for whatever reason, whether it's coming off a messy hangover over the weekend, I'm not sure. But that didn't look like the Red Bulls team that I saw going back and looking and watching their tape.
I mean, it's a midweek game. You're on the road. You're playing on turf. Like you said, you just had a tough 90 minutes versus Inter Miami, which unbelievable game last night on Wednesday night between Inter Miami and Nashville. I mean, it's going to be amazing to see if Miami makes the playoffs. It's unbelievable. But I still think that this Red Bull team is a team that you don't want to see in the playoffs. Sean Donahue pointed out that this is not a great road Red Bulls team. I mean, I pretty much told everybody to take the house on the Red Bulls yesterday, so I was kind of shocked because I mean, even
You were quiet in
I
our
was
group
because I don't
because
know if I believe in this team right now. I don't know if I believe in this Revs team. I still think last night should have been a larger than a 1-0 win. I think they proved to you that they're better than a 1-0 win last night.
I think that they also kind of exceeded my expectations going into
Absolutely.
last night,
After
especially
you
what we
saw
saw
the
last
lineup,
week,
yeah.
and then the lineup that came out.
I mean, again, Tom, you're working with one of your starting backs.
Yes,
One.
exactly.
I mean, shout out to Matt Polster, who's filled in very well on that right side.
I might keep him there.
Omar
It's possible.
and Ben Sweat last night, Spalding. I mean, they're playing serviceable minutes, but these are not your starting
If
backs.
you can keep Polster, if Polster, Tommy, to piggyback off of your take there, if you are going to keep Polster there as a replacement for Brandon Bye, I don't hate having like a Harks and Buck rotation there in that spot where Polster
Harks,
usually
Mark
is.
Anthony K.
Or Mark Anthony K. I don't hate it, to be honest.
Harks, to me,
Polster is still best at that position.
Harks is an everyday guy right now.
Harks is an everyday guy. Mark Anthony K. First game, really well. Second game, kind of dipped a little bit. Yesterday, he played very well. And this is just what happens when guys get into a new system. You have to give him a little time to acclimate. That ball that he sent through to Veroni was a class ball. Now, granted, Veroni took it 35 yards in himself. It had a great finish. But that if you go back and watch his touches, Mark Anthony K's, very good game. I like him where he was last night.
I also like that he comes off as an enforcer.
He was the first one in when
Carlos got taken out.
I mean, that was borderline red card. I hate to do this because we're a Revs show and we could be,
seemed as biased a little bit,
yes.
but yeah.
But I think that...
Well, anytime you're coming through somebody's legs from behind, it's borderline. I'm sure there's refs that exist that would take a second look at that and be like, this might be a red card here.
But to your point, when you watch the replay back, he's the first player in there.
I think you need that guy. I think that's the one thing that this lineup has been missing for a very long time now, has been a guy that is an enforcer. And Polster, to an extent, is an enforcer, but he's also got captain-esque qualities that if Carlos goes down... I and you got a lot of captains out there, but Polster comes off as the immediate guy to step up and be the voice of this team. Mark Anthony Kaye is a hard-nosed MFer.
Mm-hmm. He is.
That is not afraid of anybody, plays fearless.
He stepped right into
box
that
to
role.
box.
Yeah,
Like,
that's good.
I've been high on Mark Anthony Kaye since he came in here, and I think he's been a nice addition. I think the combination of him and Harks is actually surprisingly came out of nowhere, because I think you have all this midfield depth. You really don't know what to do with it, but this kind of seems like an interesting combination that I would keep, especially that Matt Polster seems to be maybe the long-term option at right back. Also, there's a partnership there. We know when you get Andrew Farrell back, he didn't play last night. There's a partnership there with those two. Those two are really tight. Like,
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys both bring up Polster, and you're right, because when DeJuan Jones comes back, you saw Matt Polster do exactly what Bai did, exactly what Jones did. He was involved in the offense.
Well, that's what he does.
He got up. His vision is there, too. If you go back and watch some of his touches, he found Carlos Heel through traffic in the middle. That's exactly what you want to do from that right back position.
You need a guy that knows how to bring that ball out of the back.
Yeah,
because they're a team that builds from the back.
You need to
and
take
they don't
your space.
just,
Actually, Ben Sweat did a good job of taking his space last night, too. He was in the right spot a lot of times. There were some times that the execution, once he got the ball, wasn't there. Again, he's had limited minutes, but I liked Ben Sweat last night taking his space up. With the way the Revolution played, that's what you need to do.
Very patient.
Yes,
Yeah.
and those are the guys that you're not, like, they're not starters regularly for a reason. So when you can have guys like Ben Sweat step up and
even Omar.
2 good
games in a row.
Omar
Serviceable minutes.
And Earl Edwards Jr.
Earl Edwards Jr.
got you a shutout. He's buying donuts for everybody today.
He's looking, if it's another transitional role for him until the name of the new keeper coming in is escaping me right now.
Tomas Valsic. He's where's Pasta from?
Czech?
From the Czech.
Yeah, so there's
Serbia?
another Czech.
No, not Serbia. That was Petrovic.
I think it's Czech Republic.
Yeah, another Czech.
Because Pasta's all about it.
Yeah, Pasta likes us. Tomas Vasilic.
Well, there you go. And, if he's going to be another one of these studs that they happen to find out there and stumble upon.
He's a name. I mean, I've seen the name before.
Yeah, of course.
He's got a good resume.
Is doing his job, and he actually had a couple, quick little reflex saves.
Really
last
good
night
saves
too.
last night. I mean, the thing with Vasilic that I've read, if I'm saying his name right, Tomas, shot stopper. That's all that matters.
Well,
And look at the last two keepers of
Shot
Revolution.
stoppers.
They've had these shot stoppers that are making just incredible saves. It's not just position. They can have the reflexes and get the hands on the ball, which is very important. Yeah, overall, I thought they looked decent. I thought they looked pretty good last night. I had very low expectations.
Grade of 10. 1 to 10.
For the lineup, for the midweek, for the opponent, I would say probably a 7.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good
Feels
win.
low for you.
Based on
No, I mean,
if 10's being the best possible team that they can put out on
Yeah.
the field, I give it like a 7.
Performance-wise.
like,
Yeah.
like a 7.5.
Sure.
Believe it or not, I give that like an 8.5 last night.
Okay, it's fair.
I actually think the fact that you were able to play your game at home, you disrupted New York's momentum, and you disrupted their game plan, and you did it really with a B squad. That overachieved last night in every single facet. I thought walking out of last night with a point was good. Walking out with all 3 points and keeping yourself in second place, especially on a night where Philadelphia dropped points.
That was big.
That's huge. That you're
Cincinnati,
solidifying.
looked like for a while they were going to drop points.
We're coming
but
to a close. There's 11 games left for the Revolution.
Yeah.
We're coming to a close.
we needed Atlanta to pull through last night. They had the 1-0 lead, and then they ended up blowing it. Cincinnati now.
Did I say 11? I think 9, actually. Yeah, because that was game 25.
Yeah.
There's 34 games.
So it's going to be just, what? Again, I've been vocal about I'm not really concerned with the number 1 seed in the East or the Supporters Shield because of pressure and all that stuff that we've seen. It hasn't worked for the Revs in the past. So
Well, here's the thing, too. And you started off the show talking about the final score, which, again, I know everybody wants teams to win 10-0 every single time. But the reason I was cool with 1-0 is because the Revolution had multiple opportunities to score. Obviously, they didn't all go in. But when you look back at the 90, I don't think the Red Bulls had one opportunity to score. The shots came 18 or back.
Yeah.
They had 2 corners. None of them really did anything.
They had one inside the box that made me very nervous.
Towards the end of the game?
He had to make kind of like a falling safety.
Sure. So if you want, you want to give them one. So one's legit kind of scoring opportunity through 90 with 3 of your 4 defenders not in there and a goalkeeper that really hasn't played. I'll take that all day.
And listen, they did a really good job, I thought, last night distributing from the back on the counterattack. They were finding space, and I thought that was really good because that's usually Polster's specialty. So if he wasn't,
you had him back
you had
there.
You had K distributing the ball when Buck came in, which, by the way, Buck had a ball came over the top on the right-hand side in the second half. We had this incredible touch where he brought it down and brought it back. That was, and then I think he serviced the ball back across the box, and whatever happened. But his touch is just phenomenal. He's going to be a great player. Yeah.
What do you think about Tomas Chankali for his home debut?
So I was talking about this in the press box last night. Limited minutes against Montreal. You can see the talent. You could see the vision already. He was
confident,
trying to find heel confidence. And again, last night I thought he built on that first performance. I think he could again be another good player that they brought in here. It's so early. You've seen 90+ minutes once, actually, if you combine both together, but I think he could be a good weapon.
The one thing that stood out to me is that it seems like he's not afraid to take guys on one-on-one.
And you need that.
He has very good ball control.
You need that.
Yeah, which is absolutely what you need. That's what you're missing without Dylan Barrero and a guy I mentioned last night in our group text, Gustavo Bo. Listen, this team doesn't live and die by Gustavo Bo, but he does help you in the attacking third because he's so good at holding the ball, beating a guy, creating his own shot opportunities. We've talked about this in the past, and him and Carlos just have such an incredible chemistry that it makes a difference. So I found there was a few times the Revolution in that around the box area struggled a little bit, were indecisive with the ball, and I think that's where Bo helps you. So if you get through this end part of the season, you get him back hopefully just before the playoffs or into the playoffs, that's going to be a huge lift for them.
He's only played 14 games this year.
I know, but he's still Gustavo Bo.
When he's on the field,
he makes Brioni better. He makes Carlos Heel better. He does make the team
This
better.
might be the most ineffective year for Gustavo Bo since he's gotten here.
I don't disagree. He's just not been healthy, and he's lost a half a step. He's getting older.
But now that we know that, with the hindsight being 2020, was it a mistake bringing him back as a designated player when at the beginning of the season you knew what you had with him?
I think you roll with the guys,
I don't think did it pay off. I mean, you're in second place, so I mean, how bad can it be?
It could be worse, but to this point,
I do think Mike is correct, though, and we've talked about this on shows past, that when he's on the field with Heel and Veroni, they're a better team.
That's a better team.
But your point, again, this is one of those both are true. Your point is correct, though. 14 games, another month off due to injury. It's tough.
This is probably it for
tough.
him. Let's call it what it is. This is probably Gustavo Bo's last season with the Revolution.
But maybe Tomas Shankali can be that guy that is doing what you're talking about, because we saw him in an attacking role for some of that game last night, where you really do need. I mean, Veroni is so good off the ball to find that space and get him behind. But when you saw this against Montreal, when it's one up top, easy to defend that. Even last night, when one of those players is playing off, it doesn't matter who you are on what team. When you have 3 or 4 against one all day, it's very difficult to break through. Yeah, but another point from last night that they shored up against Montreal, which they reverted back to for some reason. And again, I know it was the first game back, 3 weeks off, makeshift lineup, but they were going back to long balls out of the back, which I just don't understand. They kind of did that a little last.
That's an MLS thing, isn't it?
It is, but they kind of did that last night.
U.S. soccer thing.
This team is so much better possession feet to feet because of Carlos.
And you could see it. I mean, even there were times where, Edwards got put in a tough spot and he sent in long balls. I mean, there was one particular play, the ball went back and forth to the goalies on their kicks like 3 times in a row. And I'm like, okay, we're playing goalie wars here. What's going on?
No, this is MLS.
Yeah, it's MLS.
No disrespect.
No, yeah, we love the MLS, but there's times where, and it also could do with lack of playing time together. Sometimes it's like, okay, we're panic mode. Okay, we can't find that first initial pass out of the back. Just clear it, send it downfield, and we'll figure it out.
But this shows you, like, again, it's coming off Leagues Cup. It's makeshift lineups. It's middle week game. The Revolution real first chance was at the 25th minute,
which was around the time Veroni scored, right?
Veroni scored in the 30th, and I have here New York's first real chance was at the 42nd minute, where they were even close to the box. I mean, that's a rough game. It really is.
It's rough.
But you win, and you move on, and that's it.
A win is a win is a win is a win.
And to your point, Tom, this Austin FC team coming in here on Saturday is in a rough spot that doesn't mean anything. You have to go on and perform.
Don't let it be a trap game.
But this team is floundering right now. Lost their last 3 games coming out of Leagues Cup. 2-1 loss against Seattle last night. that they lost in the 90th minute. The game against Dallas was a 1-0 loss, gave that goal up in the 97th minute.
So they're not getting blown out.
7th minute of stoppage time.
Although
the second game, the sandwich game, they did get blown out 6-3 to St. Louis in St. Louis. That game was, and a lot of, I think 4 of the goals came in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's a team that probably at that point was like,
just
you let one
whatever.
And when you talk about one of the best, you talk about the best team in the West,
sure,
arguably,
and at home.
If you're looking for a few players to watch out for, Sebastian Driussi, number 10 on the team, 7 goals, very good. Watch out for him. Daniel Pereira, who's coming off a red card, got a red card a few games ago. He leads them with 6 assists. So there are some playmakers up top. But when you look at the bottom of the table teams right now, it is their defense.
It should be a win at home.
Yeah, their defense is tough. So this should, regardless of who's on the field for the Revolution, I don't do this a lot, by the way. This is an absolute. This should be an absolute win.
And plus, to be back-to-back home games after a midweek game where everybody's playing midweek.
Well, if you want to talk about the schedule too, you want these points because the next 3 are on the road.
Yeah, right. That too. So you have to eat up these home points.
The Revolution haven't been a bad road team. So
they haven't been a bad team in general this year.
No, they haven't.
Undefeated at home.
Yeah, so
Minnesota's going to be tough. They just smoked Colorado. Colorado sucks, so you should be able to beat Colorado. They just do. And then Chicago's a weird team to play against because they're so inconsistent.
And they got guys that can turn it on if they need.
I mean, Kai Kamara can kill you at the end. I mean, they still have...
Same with Charlotte. Charlotte's got some players.
Jordan Shaqiri. So it's... Minnesota. I mean, Reynoso in Minnesota will be interesting. Everybody talks about Thiago Almeida. Everybody talks about Carlos and Lucho. But because we're so Eastern Conference focused here, I think we forget all of the talent that's on the Western Conference side. And obviously you just mentioned Driussi, but Reynoso is the problem. So, I mean, you got to deal with him next weekend. This weekend you got Austin.
Can't look ahead. We're already doing what they can't do.
Yeah, worry about Saturday.
Because the games against teams like Austin are the ones that end up biting you in the butt later in the season because it's like, damn, we looked past them. Similar to the Inter Miami game earlier this year, obviously before Messi Mania.
So again, 2 stoppage time goals that were given up, back-to-back games giving up goals off set pieces. So the Revolution, who have done okay on set pieces, even though Tom kind of called them out a few weeks ago, that could be a definite positive. And again, that back line, the teams that I watched the last few nights had much success in what we just talked about. The Revolution strength is playing the ball on the ground through the backs, just like you saw Mark Anthony Kaye last night too. Mm-hmm. That's going to win you this game against Austin.
Space.
Bingo.
What grade would you give Richie Williams through 4 total matches? He's got.
I don't love the grades.
He's got 1 PK win. He's got 1 PK loss. He's got 1 loss in league play. He's got 1 nothing loss in league play. He's got 1 nothing win in league play.
I think that you give him given the circumstances and the uncertainty and the lack of communication between the league and what's going on with Bruce, I'd give him a B.
Yeah, I give him a B+. I think a B+ is fair.
I think it's tough to say he's not doing a good job because he's not doing anything in games that your eyes could say like, oh, that decision
has any decision that he's made lost him the game.
No, I don't think so. And the reason why I mean, grades aside, he is doing a good job and that coaching staff is doing a good job is because of what Mike just said is still going on a month plus later, and this team hasn't lost a step. There's players that have been injured. These guys on the field giving 100%. You talk to players, you've been in the locker room, there's no disconnect with all this going on with the head coach, so you have to give him and the coaching staff credit.
This is where a game like this weekend becomes scarier and may have more implications than we give it credit for, because a bad loss like that, if they were to lose to Austin at home, that's the type of loss that can
spiral
a little bit, but also where you would want your coach, Bruce, your leader, your guy with experience, to be able to reel you back in.
Yeah.
We don't know if Richie has that. We're not saying he doesn't. We just know the track record with Bruce. So that's why it's important to win these games, because you don't want to then start spiraling and now putting your interim coach, potentially long-term solution if this Bruce thing ever becomes resolved, you don't want to put him in that position where now it's like, okay, you have to trust me, guys, because I'm sure they do to an extent. but at the level that Bruce probably had the trust in, from these guys, it might not be there yet.
I think a good thing with this specific team too, because we've talked about this on the podcast all year, is that the players in place, there are a lot of new players, but
Yes.
you brought in some consummate veterans and you have players that are established on this team where that could happen. I don't see it happening, even with the loss this weekend,
No.
because of the players in that locker room.
I think you need at least 7 of 12 points in the next 4.
So what are you going for?
Got to beat Austin.
What's your goal?
I think they need to finish at least second.
Yeah. I think
here's the thing. I think you need to set yourself up to make it tougher on Columbus. I mean, it's just the back end of the schedule is miserable, and this is
I don't
why
think you catch Cincinnati, so I think you can rule.
No,
that
it's
out.
not about even catching Cincinnati as much as it is solidifying yourself in second. Like, I just hate the way this schedule plays out for them because you go Minnesota, tough game. Colorado, tomato can. Chicago, Then you're back at home against Charlotte. That should be much easier because Charlotte's different on the road than they are at home. Columbus at home is going to be
haven't
tough.
seen Charlotte since game 1, right?
Right.
Yeah. Columbus, tough.
Columbus is tough. That's going to be a tough game at home. That's not a guarantee. Columbus is I mean, these teams at the back half of the season here, this is when they're going to start playing their best soccer. It's Columbus. It's Orlando who's on your heels. It's Nashville who's on your heels. And then it's Philly.
I'll tell
It's
you
the
what,
worst
too.
end of a schedule possible.
Because the season is unfortunately towards the end. It is something to talk about, the Revolution and their success at home and being unbeaten. And then you look at the schedule and their last 2 home games are Columbus and Philadelphia. I mean,
That'll put it to a test.
That's it. That'll definitely test if you can remain unbeaten.
But on the bright side,
take care of Saturday first.
Take care of Saturday.
Yes.
Get these points now. But on the bright side, you could be looking at the return of Gustavo Bo,
Henry Kessler at some point.
Kessler is gonna
DeJuan
be
Jones.
back. DeJuan Jones
Tommy
will be
McNamara
back.
probably comes
You'll
back at
have
some
more
point.
depth in the midfield. You either shift Farrell out to that. If you want to run 4 in the back, you have the option of now running Kessler with Romney and Farrell out there and Jones, or you keep Pulser out there and you have a rotation in the middle of the Farrell, Kessler, and Romney. So get through these next few weeks.
If you can get through these, if you can get to September,
Could get healthy at just the right time.
And here's the thing, and that's why I think that is more important than their seeding at the end. I think the health and the play going into it, hopefully the results will follow. But if they're second, third, or fourth, to me, that is not as big of a deal as them getting healthier and the momentum.
I wouldn't want to see them get to 4th.
Momentum.
It's been a
Seed
minute.
doesn't matter to me because you saw what happens. Now, if you start dropping towards the end of the table because you lost a bunch in a row, that not the table, I mean the end of the playoff table, then that's a different story. But to me, where 2, 3, 4, whatever.
I disagree with that only because of how dominant you are at home. Like, they have mastered. Like, the only 2 teams that have been as good at home this year, maybe 3, St. Louis, Cincinnati, and the Revs.
I think that sure. So it would be difficult to say that because I made that point earlier about them being unbeaten at home. But I just think, I don't know, the seeds to me, once you're in the playoffs, what you did all regular season at home, that just gets thrown to the wind.
we've
It's
seen
a
it didn't
brand new
work for them
season.
in the past.
It happens it just happened to the Bruins. It happened to the Revolution 2 years ago. It's just what it is. It's more about health and play than seeding to me. That's just what it is.
Is there any team that you don't want to see that's not named Miami?
Ooh.
In the East,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Philly's always going to give you it. To me, in the last few years,
You look at this right here, 7-Up.
yeah,
All of them are a threat.
That's it. That the East is loaded. I no disrespect to the West. I know you gave them credit. There's some good teams there for sure. Any of those 7 teams could win right
Personally, the 2 teams that I always, when it comes to the Revolution is Columbus and Philadelphia. To me, always give the Revolution.
now. Columbus is good.
They're just a good team, and
Yeah.
it just seems like it always comes down
But
to
so
either
is
those
Nashville.
2 teams. Nashville's a good team. Cincinnati's obviously a
Yep.
great team. They've been at the top.
That's why I
all
keep
year
going.
long.
Atlanta, difficult, especially if
Atlanta
you're playing
environment,
there.
If you have to
Yep.
go there, it's
You gotta
tough.
play Almada, Giacomakis.
Orlando
know.
City, same thing, playing down there with the heat, with that environment's tough.
So it's nobody, but I think just history alone, I would rather not have to play Philadelphia or Columbus, and then take a shot with some of the other guys in the East.
How's that math looking? Can Inter Miami do it?
They have to win like
They have
7 games or something.
They've got 10 points to make up for the final playoff spot.
Because they're 3 games behind. Like they've only played 24 games.
Right. So they have 3 in hand. So it's like, they have a lot of games. My thing with Miami is, how tired are they? I think did Tata, and granted, they also have U.S. Open Cup final against Houston coming up too. So their schedule becomes loaded. How do you manage minutes? Do you even care about U.S. Open Cup? I don't think you can.
Yeah, but Miami's going to start running to Nashville, LAFC. They have Atlanta, Orlando,
Tough.
Chicago,
I will
Cincinnati
say though, you two calling for this number 2 seed. If they go on that run and they're 7th seed, is that what you want?
No, absolutely not. I think, my opinion, it's hard to bet against them right now. It's hard to bet against Messi. It's too steep of a hill to climb this year
To get them into the playoffs?
I think it is. I think it's too steep. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. You have to count on the other.
They have 10
teams.
games. I mean, they played 24 games, so they have a few in hand.
They have 2 at hand on the last place team in the East right now, which I believe is Nashville. Is it Nashville or?
I think it's Montreal and Chicago. I think that's where the playoff line cuts.
Oh, 9 teams make it?
That's the way I'm interpreting it.
Yeah, Montreal and Chicago are at the
they
bottom
could
there.
jump Chicago.
I think that's why I'm saying it's possible.
They got points to make up. It sounds easier than and that means they have to win out. They have to win out. And then they have to count on other people to drop points.
Tying last night hurt. Tying last night versus
that,
Nashville
to
hurt
me
them.
was almost like, okay, now your odds. I'd like to see what those odds are.
I was at the game last
throw a few
night.
quid on that.
How was that Miami game? Who was the bet? Was Nashville the better? Was it equal?
I thought Nashville played unbelievable last night. I thought Messi had a couple opportunities to bury it, especially a couple.
I was getting the Apple alerts when he was taking free kicks, but that was about it.
Which, by the way, I don't know if they're annoying or if
That's
it's
amazing.
Apple stock has gone up. I don't know if people pay.
God bless you.
Thank you. Pay attention to stocks and whatnot, but Apple stock has gone up since the Messi announcement. So
Makes sense.
Subscriptions are up. Everything is up on Messi. People are infatuated. I don't know
Messi
if
mania.
you want to run this to the ground, though, in year 1 of the project. He might be here and playing regularly throughout the World Cup till the 2026 World Cup. That's a real possibility. He looks
possible.
happy. He's enjoying it. The American experience is working so far. Do you want to run it into the ground on year 1? Do you want to break the Maserati in the first 3 months?
I don't think there is a running it into the ground. Maybe to the average American,
But not really.
but I think that people are in. People are excited, and it helps that Miami's merch is fire. And they just. I don't know
There's
if
a
they've
bunch of
officially
kits at the Revs game
the
last
best
night. They were
jerseys in the
everywhere.
league, right?
Yeah, but even these black ones that I don't know if they're officially out yet, but there was a photo of Messi in his new black Adidas Inter Miami kits, super fire. I'm contemplating getting one myself. I'll get a lot of crap for it.
Will you wear it on the show?
Yeah, I'd wear it on the show. I
would wear them too. They're great jerseys.
They're fire. It's a fire kit, and I'm a soccer kit guy. So
It's amazing the Revs don't have a black kit. Because Bruce wears all black all the time.
they had one in
Way back in
2002, I think it was.
I think Richie was wearing all black with.
They
have warm up stuff, but there
the
was
day. Actually an all black
so
kit.
anybody
Gotcha.
listening or watching right now, if you can get your hands on, it's a New England Revolution 2002, I want to say, alternate kit. It was their 3rd kit that year. It was black and gray. Believe it was 2002. When I was a kid, I wanted that jersey so bad, but they didn't have it in kid sizes. I need that jersey. I need it yesterday. Somebody needs to help me find that because
Millennials on Google.
super fire. It was like a
is it this
black.
one?
It's like a black with like a gray, gray sleeves.
No, hold
No, that's
on.
blue.
Wait. Scroll.
I'll add it into. I'll add the
Wait.
picture in the YouTube.
You have it, Mike?
Is that it?
Let me see.
That's great.
No, it's a black. I'll
black.
find it and I'll put it on the YouTube video as well. So you
Sean
guys
Donahue probably knows it.
see if it's like 2002. I would say 2002 or 2003. We're right around those years.
My favorite jerseys this year, I would say obviously Miami. I think we see see it more now.
And I think it's just the colors are fire. Black
Boston,
and pink is sick.
I think the color scheme with the green
Austin
and
jerseys are super fire.
black. Did you see the creamsicle ones that Toronto had?
Yes.
A couple weeks ago when they were playing Columbus, it was like the pink with the orange,
Yep.
the fire orange.
That's the benefit of being a soccer fan too. That if you're into like merchandise,
collecting?
every year they get new kits.
Yeah.
I know MLS is not as much turnover of how they look,
Not as much as EPL.
but like I love the fact that I can collect different kits every year, and like there'll be years where the Adidas ones are just super. Like this year, to me, 23-24 season all over the world, Adidas, chef's kiss. It's been phenomenal. They have killed it. Every league, there's like multiple teams. Like I'm about to go broke by like the Madrid jersey, the Benfica jerseys. I hate to say it, even the Arsenal jerseys are fire. Lyon in France is Adidas. Those jerseys are fire. There's a bunch of super nice kits out there. And then if you're a fan of collecting kits, man, let's link up.
Do you like the Chelsea kit without the sponsorship on it?
I do.
I've heard more people say they prefer kits without the
Are you
sponsorship.
getting a Petro jersey, Chelsea?
I might have to.
Yeah.
I might have to get a Chelsea Petro goalie kit.
Tom?
No.
Damn it. Yes, I do like the Chelsea because I think it was Inter in the final of the Champions League. I think they wore kits without sponsors. And I think it looks nice. It's classy. It brings back, the 90s.
The old days.
The old days.
Man, you had a nice win last weekend over our old friend
Matt
Turner, who they got up 2-0 real quick, and then, man, you salvaged the win with 3-2.
And now the Benfica goalie, Vlachodimos, who's been with Benfica the last few years, is going to Nottingham Forest as well, which I find to be very strange.
Everyone's stocking up on goalies. We have 3
he's gonna
here.
be
How many
Matt
do we have
Turner's
on the Revs
backup.
now?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't even necessarily blame for Matt Turner for that loss. I mean, the
Oh, I
goals that
wasn't
Matt
saying-
Turner's.
I didn't say it was his fault. I was just saying, okay.
All
All right.
right.
All right. You're about to,
Well,
you get your Tommy thing.
No, yeah.
Gotcha.
I thought. I mean, Nottingham Forest has a lot of problems. I don't know if Matt Turner's one. The goals that Matt has let in so far this year,
don't have a sponsor in their
lot
kit
of
either.
wonder goals. A lot of like really good, just like
Yeah, I mean, they're playing in the best league in the world, and Nottingham Forest is a bottom of the table
Yeah,
team.
and
so-
he actually made a few big saves.
Yeah,
Like that game
he's-
could have been worse.
They're a different team at home, Nottingham Forest. It'll be interesting to see if they stay up. Who do they play this weekend?
They play Chelsea.
Ooh.
They play Chelsea this weekend, yeah.
Before
Chelsea
we go in
plays.
FA Cup
Get Petro in there. You got
Saturday
to do
morning.
it. You got to see
That
it.
would be something.
It'd be awesome.
That
might-
would be something.
Petro has a chance of starting for this team before this season is over. He's going to start some games. They barely won yesterday against Wimbledon. Chelsea in like some cup. I wasn't know if it was
league?
Caribou Cup,
EFL Cup.
EFL.
No, was it EFL? Yeah.
They won 2-1 against a team called Wimbledon. What league is Wimbledon in? I'm guessing probably third division, second division at best.
I think they play. They think their home stadium is actually Wimbledon.
Probably is. They probably had to move the tennis nets out of the way. Chelsea.
I'm thinking Wembley. Why was I? I don't know why I was thinking Wimbledon. But yeah,
Chelsea's season is, it's still the beginning.
We just started. How can you
just
can't
started.
throw
No,
it
I don't know.
out.
I don't
Yeah.
think that. I don't think that Chelsea team's very good. When you look at the rest of the EPL right now, not that I would love to actually start doing more Premier League coverage.
You see Pulisic just dropping dimes too, where he
He's
is
playing
too.
with my boy Rafael Leão
Yeah.
in Milan.
I like West Ham a lot this year.
There'll be some fun teams.
I think Tottenham's going to be very good this year. Obviously, Arsenal's going to be in the mix.
I know Tottenham without
Man
Harry
City,
Kane
obviously.
They dropped the ball last week.
too. Oof.
Aston Villa, team that everybody should be watching. Big win at Burnley over the weekend. Newcastle, very disappointing loss to Liverpool. Liverpool got a very big, exciting win versus New. I
3
think,
games in the EPL, we're breaking it down. I love it.
I think it's going to be a very unpredictable season. In
I
the
still
EPL.
think it's Manchester City's league to lose.
Sure.
I hate to agree.
Hate to agree.
Yeah.
They're just a juggernaut. I think they're so good. I think I'll be happy. I'll be thrilled if Chelsea even finishes top 4. If they sniff it, I'll be very happy. But I think they're probably on like a 2-year plan right now with all the money they're spending. Manchester United has looked,
Good first game, bad second game, better like last 65 minutes
yes.
third game. They have Arsenal this weekend.
That's going to be fun as hell.
Fun game.
I'm
At
so pumped
the
for that.
Emirates.
Yeah.
Not,
I'm so pumped
the
for
Emirates.
that. I'm excited to watch that game because I have best friends that are brothers that are fans of, one is fan of United, one is fan of
Ooh.
Arsenal.
Tough.
But this is the best time, man. I love all of the soccer we get to watch, and then especially when American football starts and you go from EPL right into NFL Sundays, it's just super lit. But
Sheffield United hosts Everton this weekend. That actually might be a good day to take Sheffield United if you're gambling.
there you go, Tommy Betts.
Tommy
Betts
Betts
is hot.
Bet responsibly.
Not last night, but bet responsibly.
I made 1,800 last weekend.
You did. I saw
said
that
last night.
Yeah, Tommy had.
You made
I saw
800.
that.
You made 18. Oh, you hit that parlay.
He nailed a what was the bet?
Oh wait, I think you sent because you sent the one that you won on. That's right.
The
we didn't get all the other ones.
you don't get the ones I lose on. You get the ones I win on. Okay.
You're probably up so far, though. I'd say in the season.
For the year since I started betting on FanDuel, I'm down 250.
That's actually pretty good.
That's pretty good.
For the whole year? I mean, that's
for the
not
whole
bad.
year.
That's essentially just like, it's basically like paying for a habit. You know, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Or a hobby, rather. A hobby.
And it is a habit.
It becomes a habit.
You had
an exact score.
I had an exact score. So I had Chelsea to win.
Was that the game against
3-0
Luton Town or
against
whatever?
Luton Town? Yep. I had Raheem Sterling and Nicholas Jackson to both score.
And
I
you had a 3
Chelsea -2, so they win 3.
And you had the halftime result too, right?
I had the halftime result in the West Ham game.
Oh, that's right.
I had the halftime result in the West Ham game, which was 1-0, and then I also had Michael Antonio scoring in that game too. So that was a lot of fun. That we just come up with.
That was
1,800.
wild because Tommy always sends me the screenshots, and sometimes I'll throw a few bucks on it to follow just to have a little skin in the game. But most times I just like to watch to root for his bets. That was a fun one because first of all, I'm a Chelsea supporter, so that was nice to see them not only win the game, which they should have won anyways, but to also make some good coin there.
There you go. It's a good, nice little weekend. Paid for groceries
Bet
for the next couple
responsibly,
weeks.
please.
And bet responsibly, of
yes,
course.
yes.
But we live in a time where
Spend all your money and bet on this game this weekend. It will be.
you have a game of the week.
Yes, game of the week.
Oh boy,
Tottenham and Burnley. Take Tottenham.
Clip that.
Take Tottenham. Take Tottenham -1 if you're betting on FanDuel.
is that what the spread is? Is that what the Tottenham's probably favored by 1.5. If I was to guess, not that I would know.
My lock of the
lines or
weekend.
anything.
Disclaimer.
Sheffield money line.
Sheffield moneyline lock.
Sheffield money line.
These are the
lock.
opinions of Tom Quinlan. You can find him on Twitter.
Yeah.
I am not a gambling advisor.
Yeah. There you go.
I also we talked about.
Nor are we financial advisors.
We are not financial advisors as well, even though we are telling you to bet everything on this weekend. Speaking of merchandise, because we brought that up before, thank you very much to Defiance 1846 for the very nice gear.
We have some new set.
Yeah,
Love it.
We got their flag with the Defiance flag. Obviously, we have the Rhode Island FC scarf, and now we have season ticket prices for year one at Bryant University. Would you like to talk about it?
Let's talk about it, man. I'm pumped.
Is $58 for a single game ticket too much? For obviously the highest, the best seats in the building.
Per game?
Supporter section 15, west sideline bleacher 17 per game. Yeah. 58 per game
58
at
for
Bryant.
the best seat in the house.
58 for the best seat in the house, Bryant University. That's $986 if you wanted to do it for a season package for one person.
I mean,
at Bryant.
I'm not familiar with season ticket packages and when it comes to MLS, but I would imagine that's pretty comparable. I know, but I'm saying I think it's obviously cheaper than what it would be in MLS. So I don't know how much cheaper it is. But
does this lock you in for the next year?
I don't know if it locks you in for when Tidewater happens.
I'm sure what would happen is they probably give you
get
first
first come, first
priority.
served.
Got it.
Yeah,
I think that would be a good incentive. But I mean, again, the prices are out of control in everything right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if for $1,000 for the season and you get the best seat in the house. Is that? I mean, I don't know.
Without
for a brand new team, it could be it's. I would probably go for the lower package just to be in the stadium for the environment and do something like the $25 a game package. I think that's reasonable because at the end of the day, this is a business. This is a new club that's trying to make profit.
So what do you do to get people to come into the door? And we've had conversations with Brett Johnson, so it's
it will be having more, I'm assuming, in the future.
No secret, but do you dip into what you're doing with England to bring some of those players over? Like, you need to have a cash.
They're going to start making.
You need to make some moves here on what type of players are going to come in and gonna make.
You
a
have
real
to show
impact.
the environment that you're trying to build. It's extremely difficult doing that in a stadium that will not be yours in a year. If they were kicking off their inaugural season at Tidewater Landing, I think that we'd be having a different conversation. I think the stadium, the new car smell, for lack of a better term, would still be there.
Yep.
People would be excited to go see this new place down by the water. Playing at Bryant, I think you lose the luster a little bit, making the best of a tough situation.
That's what I asked. Like if that's part of it going into next season. But
I think if you sell like the merchandise, people have loved the merchandise, right? I'm seeing it everywhere.
Merchandise is everywhere.
Merchandise is everywhere. Yep. The colors, the logo, they've nailed everything up to this point outside of the stadium, right? Which obviously there's other things involved in that. So I think that you sell the environment, You get your players. You get.
Are there other things with that $1,000? Is it just the seats, or is there?
I'm sure you get like a package.
I'm sure they maybe hook you up with a scarf.
It's a tough question. To be honest, it's a tough question to ask because I don't really know.
Everybody's budget's different
I don't know
too.
what
So
it is.
it's.
Well, yeah, I mean, but let's think about it though. We're talking about the soccer community here in Rhode Island, which is not, we're not talking about the upper class of sports ticket buying. It's not like you're buying Patriots tickets. Like
Right.
it's supposed to be family friendly. It's supposed to be cheap entertainment, right? To an extent. I mean, would P. Bruins at the Amp in downtown Providence? I mean, $1,000 for season tickets, kind of. We need to check it. Yeah.
Probably not. I would assume it's probably not that high, but I also think that it's a completely
Even for an
different,
inaugural season.
I think it's a different circumstance. I think this is also a league that's still fairly new. It's a team that's brand new, so you got to get you got to make some money on it. I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know what the ending numbers are going to end up being because we know that it was $25 to put down a deposit on the season tickets. But now these prices that are coming out for the full cost of it, I want to know how many people transition from the deposit into actually purchasing the season tickets.
Yeah.
As we look up the Providence Bruins.
So theirs is
tickets.
for gold level pricing for the year. So that's
Glass level, so you're down by the glass, is $700 per seat.
Yeah. And that's not, and we're talking about $986 per seat for Bryant. That's a lot. Yeah, it's a $200 difference right there for a team that hasn't played yet. Nearly $300 difference. I mean, listen, we're very clear.
Yeah,
how
no,
we
but what do
feel
these
here.
season tickets get you? Does it get you more than one seat? Because this is per seat.
And that's per seat too.
That's per seat as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It could be. But
There's a lot involved. There's other benefits on this P. Bruins.
Yeah, and I'm
thing,
sure
too.
there's other benefits here. Like, and I think what Mike said too is like really important about like the overall experience and how you're setting yourself up for when Tidewater comes around. But
and also this is season ticket holders. You're talking about the biggest fans that are going to exist there.
Right, and how many
You're
of them
talking about businesses that are going to be buying season tickets for clients. You're
Sure.
talking about people that can afford to sit in the more expensive seats. So these are the people you're thinking of. But I'm curious to see what the average ticket price is going to be. I think that's the bigger question.
well, a single game ticket for East Field seats. So that these are field seats, $58.
Yeah, around the field.
Chairback seats, which are. It looks like they're more midfield seats. They're a little bit cheaper because you're sitting pretty much in the stands. $38.
Yep.
So a regular night out, we're looking between between $17 and $38, depending on how much you're willing to spend.
That's the cost. Yeah. I mean, I think that's reasonable.
That's probably a little
You're
bit
paying
more
to go watch a
reasonable.
professional sport,
But again, I guess my thing is for a team that hasn't announced any players yet,
they're going to start doing that.
I think you have to come in with the cachet of something. You have to get people to come out.
They will.
I
They're
The
beginning.
name value will be hard.
So now we're starting to see the rollout of the season tickets, and they're showing the pictures of the season ticket holders picking up their scarf and saying they made their purchase. You're going to start to see. I know head coach Cano Smith has been doing a lot of scouting. He's been on the road doing a lot of scouting this summer.
more active on socials.
He's more active
Very
on
active
social
on
media. You're going to start to see it. They're well aware of the season being around the corner. Really, at this point, I mean, we're what? Less than a year. I mean, about 8 months out.
Yeah.
About 8 months out from the season beginning. Less than that now. 7 months out from the season beginning. They're well aware that they're going to have to kick it up. And I think that it's going to start when you start to see some players, whether local or maybe they bring some of these guys over from Ipswich through the relationship Brett Johnson has there.
They use any Revs Academy guys?
They could.
Is there any Revs 2 guys that you can pick off?
There could absolutely be some guys that come over on some type of loan deal or whatever.
We got to get Parker's back on this show.
We'll get Parker's
Yeah,
back.
we got to get him.
We'll
back.
get Parker's back. We'll get Brett Johnson.
Yeah.
We're gonna kick. I know we have some really strong, loyal listeners, and also Rhode Island. Obviously, we got this beautiful flag. I mean, you think the person who sent us this flag, they're paying $58 a seat for this.
Yeah.
They're paying for the
They're
season
invested.
tickets. It's more about what do you do for the family of 4.
True.
That's who I'm thinking of.
But is the family of 4 going to buy season tickets?
Or is it a one night out? Here's the family.
Yeah.
Let's
Depends on if that
let's get some
that
concessions.
family is into soccer. I
It
think
could be. I'm sure there may be a few, but the majority of season ticket holders are probably going to be, one-offs here and there.
I think too. You see the Revolution to a much bigger stadium, by the way, but there could be some youth soccer tickets that get a discount. Like
There's
all these
gonna be
things
youth soccer.
Yeah,
For sure. There's going to be
Revs.
this isn't their first rodeo. They brought in a strong team of people who have experience with the USL and other leagues, so they're going to get the marketing and promo out there.
What I'm interested in is I haven't seen much with Michael Parkhurst in Rhode Island FC.
He just shared something.
Did he?
Yeah.
Today? I've not seen him do much with Rhode Island FC recently.
He shared a video. I don't know if it was of Kano or he did.
Was it on Instagram? Because I don't see it on Twitter.
Might have been on Instagram. Yeah, but no, Parkhurst, he's still very much involved. I think they're just been. I think
Nothing in his bio about Rhode Island FC on Twitter.
I think there's been a lot of behind the scenes stuff that they've been kind of working with, finalizing staffing, and just doing scouting. I think we forget how much you're putting together a team from scratch, from absolutely nothing. So even if you have a game plan, you still need to be on the road. You need to be doing some really in-depth scouting, what these players are going to cost, because these are professional athletes. They're getting paid. So you have to figure in how much are we going to pay this guy, what our budget is. I don't know if there's a salary cap in USL or whatever it may be. But yeah, here he is. He shared a video on his Instagram story. Do you know the head coach of Rhode Island FC? And it's like a video asking Connell Smith.
Oh, it's they're calling random people.
It's like a little social media
Not
team.
bad. Okay, so he's in. All right,
He's involved. He's in there.
Okay, I'll follow him on
Tommy
Instagram.
tried to scoop a little story there a little bit.
I'm just saying, I follow him on Twitter. I haven't seen him do anything on Twitter.
We're also full swing MLS right now, so we've kind of lacked.
He is a big Atlanta United guy.
Following Rhode Island FC happenings. Because it's been a lull. They're doing a lot of back office stuff.
So to end the show, we have a couple minutes left. I know this is something we've done for the last month now, and I don't know if there's any new information, Tom, but...
is there somebody missing?
No, I was at Gillette Stadium last night, and it was business as usual.
Nobody is saying a damn thing. It is absolutely amazing. The Revs played a home game last night, and we've gone a month without knowing the future of Bruce Arena.
But are we past the point now where
he's not coming back?
Where it matters?
Yes. I still think it matters. It will matter.
I think it matters, but are we past the point where it's a distraction?
I think it is.
If
I don't know.
Was any other sport, it'd be a distraction.
But I think it's still a story. I don't know if it's a distraction for the players.
I don't think it's a distraction from the team.
Well, it's not.
Because it goes back to what we said earlier. I think
it's
just that it's a unique, tight-knit group of players.
I think the situation would be different if you had a media that was more engaged.
It could be.
I think those guys would feel more pressure if you had the same type of media pressure like you do on the sports radio stations in Boston, from the sports TV stations, from the national TV news. This would not imagine the Ime Udoka situation going on like this. Imagine Spygate going on as long as this. Imagine Deflategate. Anything to do with the Kraft.
No, it's true.
We knew what Bob Kraft did in an Asian spa quicker than we knew what Bruce Arena did here.
Yeah.
What is happening?
It's a great question. It is a great question.
It's going to be a Friday news up. I'm telling you now. Mark my words. If it's not this Friday, it'll be next Friday.
It'll be the Friday leading up to the Patriots' first game where nobody cares.
This sets up perfectly for MLS to do this on Friday. This is something to clip. This is going into a long holiday weekend. And MLS might want this off their hands.
I got to get this video out today.
We're recording on Thursday, August 31st. Do not be surprised if on Friday, September 1st, between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m., you get the Bruce Arena answer on a holiday weekend. Guaranteed. I could see this league doing it.
Oh, the guarantee? You're stamping it?
Yes. And you know what?
Oof.
Here's another thing to keep in mind, too. Where's Kalen Kyle been?
Oh.
Just saying.
It's a great question.
Seems to be an extended vacation for somebody that had to just make a small retraction.
Shout out to our guy, though, getting the hosting gig, though, full-time, it seems like.
Liam? Yeah, we like
Liam McHugh.
All right, that does it for us here on New England Soccer Weekly. You got anything else?
Well, we can't end it how we usually end it. So, no, how about we love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're very thankful and appreciative for everybody that's been checking out our YouTube. We're trying to grow that.
Comment on the show. Please
comment,
do that.
like it. Make sure you
Thank you.
subscribe it. Tell your friends. Send the links around. We want to continue to give you guys incredible coverage and have fun doing it. And we appreciate all the support so far. And shout out to our friend in Jerusalem. I forgot his name.
See you next week after Austin.
Peace.